Hello everyone. Today we are going to do the Act 3, 4 and 5 of The Tempest by William Shakespeare for ISC exam 2023. You all must be knowing that as per the reduced syllabus, you will be getting only 3 acts for your examination, literature examination, that is Act 3, 4 and 5. As you know, in literature paper this year, you will be asked MCQs also and complete sentences also. And let me tell you, children, in those complete sentences, you are going to get the reasoning only, right? Like you have to answer any sentence. Ferdinand calls the task menial or mean because, and then you have to give the reason for it. So instead of asking in question answer form, you will be asked in completion of sentences. All right. So let's begin with the Tempest. And before starting with Act 3, I would like you to have a quick recap of the two acts which you must have studied in class 11. And you know, why is it important for you to know these two acts also? Because when you write answers, and especially long answers, it's not necessary that the only information which is given in Act 3, 4, and 5 will be used. You may have to use the information given in the earlier acts, Act 1 and Act 2 as well. Number one. Number two, it is a play, and the whole play must be known to the students. Only then they'll be able to do justice with their answers. Only then they'll be able to write good answers. So let's see. See here, as you can see, I have given in very short the relevance of acts and scenes. So, if we talk about Act 1, Scene 1, which is often known as the Tempest scene, and you know what is the significance of this Tempest scene? In this scene, the time, place, and nature of the play are indicated. Then, another significance of Act 1, Scene 1 is that mariners and courtiers are introduced. Courtiers, among courtiers, we have Alonso, the king of Naples. We have Antonio, who is the brother of Prospero, and he is the one who betrayed him. Then we come to know about Gonzalo, who was an old counselor of Alonso and was very helpful for Prospero, because it was because of Gonzalo only that Prospero was able to survive on this island. Now, Act 1, Scene 2, which is considered one of the most important acts of the play. Why? Because it, you know, in Act 2, Scene 2, we come to know about the past history of main characters. And you see, we come to know about the past history of Prospero, Miranda, Ariel, and Caliban. So, this is done in Act 2, Scene 2 only. We come to know about their past. Because once we know the past, then only we will be able to establish a relation with of the past with the present. Okay, so Act 1, Scene 2 is about the past history. And yes, one more important development which takes place in this scene is the beginning of the love story of Ferdinand and Miranda. Now, another important aspect that you need to understand in this act is the use of magic. The use of magic is shown in both the scenes. Scene 1 as well, because the tempest which was created on the sea, that was by Prospero's magic only. And another is in Scene 2 also, you know, the way he talks to Ariel, and for that, you know, he makes Miranda asleep, and then he talks to Ariel. He talks to Ariel about the developments, in what way has he raised the tempest, and where are the mariners, where are the sailors, where are the passengers, what has happened to the other ships on the fleet. So all that has been discussed, and use of magic is shown. Now, if we talk about Act 2 has two scenes. Scene 1 develops a plot to seize the throne of Naples by killing Alonso. In this scene, the important incident that takes place is when Antonio instigates Sebastian to kill his own brother. The way he betrayed his own brother, in the same way he wants Sebastian to kill his own brother Alonso to get the throne of Naples. And in Scene 2, Caliban takes Stefano for a god and enters his service. Now, both the scenes of Act 2 are parallel to each other. In what way are they parallel? Because, you know, we are shown two groups of shipwrecked passengers. One is the courtiers, and another group is of commoners. So in the first scene, we are shown the group of courtiers, And in the next scene, we are shown the group of commoners. Now let's come to Act 3, children. The third act is basically about the crisis in the play. And it has three scenes. In the first scene, we find Ferdinand and Miranda meeting each other and confessing their love for each other. This is what Prospero wants. We already know that Miranda and Ferdinand have fallen in love with each other at the first sight. Now, in this scene, when Ferdinand has been given this menial task of piling the log of woods by Prospero, Miranda doesn't feel good about it. And she comes to meet him and comfort him. She rather wants to help him also in his task. So, this way we come to know how caring they are towards each other, and they are actually in love with each other, right? Their love is true for each other, and they confess their love also. Now, in second scene, we see Caliban and Stefano plotting the murder of Prospero. Now, in the third scene, Antonio and Sebastian renew their plot against Alonso. They renew their plot against Alonso, and Prospero becomes aware of both the plotting that has been done, the plotting of Caliban also, and the plotting of Antonio also. And with the help of his power of magic, he is able to use his magic over the conspirators in order to defeat their purpose. Right? So now let's begin with the explanation of the act. Act 3, Scene 1 takes place before Prospero's cell. Please understand, children, it is very important for you to know the venue of each and every scene. So the scene takes place before Prospero's cell. Enter Ferdinand bearing a log. Log here means log of wood. Log here refers to log of wood. Why? Because Prospero has assigned a task to Ferdinand to pile all logs of wood at one place, right? So he is doing that task. And at this time, when he makes this speech, it's a soliloquy because he is talking to himself. And in this speech, he is bearing a log of wood in his hand. Ferdinand says, there be some sports are painful, and their labor delights in them sets off. There be some sports are painful. There are some sports. Sports here refer to physical labor. There are some sports, there are some physical tasks, laborious tasks, which are painful, and their labor, delight in them sets off. Sets off means display by contrast. The labor, the happiness that we get in the labor of these physical tasks, that is displayed by contrast. Display by contrast means, we though we are happy, but it is not shown that way. Some kind of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends. Some kind of baseness. Baseness here means humbleness, meanness. Actually, he is talking about this humble task which he has been given. Being the prince, he is not supposed to do such a laborious task. But he says some kinds of baseness, humbleness are nobly undergone. But such humbleness, such poor tasks are taken nobly. And most poor matters, in this way, most poor matters, the matters which are most despised, most hated, most disliked by anybody, and most poor matters points to means aim at rich results, noble results. And it sometimes happen that when we do a mean task, we are happy of doing it, though it doesn't show the displays and contrast. But yes, we are happy to do that because sometimes some kind of baseness, meanness, humbleness is taken nobly. And even the most poor matters, the matters which are disliked by us, despised by us, they aim at rich ends. All right, they give us rich results, noble results. Then this is the general thing he is talking. He is talking in general about the task which he has been given by Prospero. Now he says, this my main task. Now he is talking about the particular task of piling the wood. This my main task, he is considering it as main task. Mean means humble, which he is not supposed to do. Now, you can be asked in completion of sentences, why does he call it a mean task? Because being a prince, he is not supposed to do such laborious tasks, such low, humble tasks. All right. This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious. It would be as heavy to me. It would be as heavy, as difficult to me as odious. Odious is hateful, odd. The way this task is difficult for me to do, disappointing for me to do, in the same way, it is very odd for me to do. But the mistress which I serve, which here means who I serve, but the mistress who I serve quickens what's dead. Quickens means imparts some interest or life, imparts some interest or life. But the mistress which I serve quickens means it gives some interest or life to what's dead and makes my labors pleasures. But the mistress who I serve, now who is the mistress? Here he is referring to Miranda. All right, he is referring to Miranda. But the mistress whom I serve, she imparts some interest or life to what is dead and makes my labors pleasure. And in this way, this laborious task has become very pleasurable for me. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's crabbed, and he is composed of harshness. Then, in this line, Ferdinand compares Miranda with her father, Prospero. The way her father is composed of, made up of such harshness, the way he is so bad-tempered, ill-tempered, but his daughter, Miranda, she is 10 times more gentle than her father. Why is he saying so? Because Ferdinand has seen Prospero to be very strict, very harsh with him, right? I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a saw injunction. I must remove. Now he is telling the condition. It is a condition for him. He says, I must remove, I have to remove some thousands of these logs, round about thousands of these logs of wood and pile them up. And I have to pile them up at a certain place upon a saw injunction. Saw is strict, injunction is punishment. Please don't mind my writing here. Actually, writing with the stylus is really difficult. So, injunction actually means punishment. All right. So, that's what he says, that I have to remove some thousands of logs of wood and pile them up upon a strict punishment. Now, what is this strict punishment? The same punishment that has been given to him by Prospero. Now, why has he been given this punishment by Prospero? Because Prospero considers Ferdinand to be a spy who has come to this island to usurp him from him. All right. So that's why Prospero considers him to be a spy, and also for the reason that Ferdinand was calling him the king of Naples. So, of course, Ferdinand is doing it deliberately. He knows it very well that Ferdinand is under the impression that his father is dead, and that is why he is calling himself the king of Naples. But Prospero does it deliberately. Why? Because he wants to test his love. He wants to test the love of Ferdinand for Miranda, whether he actually loves Miranda or not. Or is it some kind of infatuation that they are having towards each other? Right? My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work. Ferdinand has also understood that Miranda has also fallen in love with him. And if not that, at least he knows that she is very gentle. So, to prove her gentleness, that she is 10 times more gentle than her father, he says that my sweet mistress, she is so considerate that she weeps when she sees me doing this task. Such baseness had never like executor. My sweet mistress, again, he is referring to Miranda as his sweet mistress, weeps when she sees me work. He wants to prove that she is so gentle that she cries. She weeps when she sees Ferdinand working and says, such baseness again means meanness, contemptible work that he has been given, had never like executor, same executor. Such mean work never had an executor like Ferdinand. All right, I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labor, my most busy lest when I do it. Now, I forget. What does it show? He says that suddenly, he is distracted while doing the work, while doing the task of piling the log of woods, he is distracted. So that's why suddenly he is reminded, I forget that I have to carry on with my work, because there was another condition. He had to pile all those logs of wood before sunset, before dark. So that's why he says, I forget. But then again, he says, but these sweet thoughts of Miranda, of a gentleness, do even refresh my labors. They refresh my labors, most busy lest, least busy, most busy lest when I do it. So, when I'm the busiest, when I do it, when I do this task and I'm the busiest, at that time also I feel like being least busy with these thoughts. All right, they refresh my labor. Now, at that time only, Miranda enters over there, right? Miranda enters at that time. Miranda says, and Prospero at a distance unseen. Now, Ferdinand, alas, which is an exclamation of grief, sadness. Now, pray you, I request you, work not so hard. Don't work so hard. I wish, would here means wish. I wish the lightning had burnt up those logs that you are enjoined to pile. I wish the lightning had burnt up those logs of woods, which you are enjoined. Enjoined here means ordered, which you are ordered to pile. I wish these logs of wood have been burnt by lightning, which you have been asked to pile. Why does Miranda says that? Miranda says so because she is very much distressed to see Ferdinand working so hard like this. All right. Then she again says, pray, I request you, set it down and rest you. Please set it down. It here refers to the log of wood which he is carrying in his head. Just keep it down and rest and take some rest. When this burns, it'll weep for having wearied you. When this burns, this here refers to that log of wood only which which he was carrying in his hand. So because these logs of wood are to be supposed as fuel. So that's why she says, when this burns, when this log of wood burns, it will weep for having wearied you. Wearied you means making you tired. Tired. All right, this log of wood will cry, it will weep for making you tired like this. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He is safe for these 3 hours. My father is hard at study. He is very busy in his study room. He is studying hard. Pray now, I request you now, rest yourself, take some rest. He is safe for these 3 hours. He is safe for these 3 hours means she means that both Miranda and Ferdinand would be safe for 3 hours against Prospero's threats. Right? So Ferdinand says, O most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do. The sun will set before I shall discharge. Discharge here means carry out. The sun will set before I carry out what I must strive to do, what I have to struggle to do. Miranda says, if you will sit down, I'll bear the logs the while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile. If you will sit down, if you sit down, I'll bear the logs the while. So she offers her help. She says, while you are taking rest, I am ready to bear these logs of wood and pile them up. Pray, I request you, give me that. Give me that. Give me that log of wood which Ferdinand was carrying in his hand. I'll carry it to the pile. I'll take it to the pile. Ferdinand doesn't agree to it. He says, no precious creature. He calls her precious creature. No precious creature. I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by. I had rather crack my sinews. Sinews are muscles. He says, I cannot make you work in place of me. It would be better if, I get my muscles cracked. Okay. So he says, no, I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, then you should such dishonor undergo. Then you should undergo such dishonor, such menial task while I sit lazy by. He says, no, I can't allow this, that I am sitting lazily and you are doing such menial task. It would be better if my muscles get cracked or my back is broken. Miranda says, it would become me as well as it does you. Become here means suit. You know, it would suit me as good as it suits you. Being a prince, when you are not supposed to do the menial, sorry, being a princess, when I am not supposed to do this menial task, then being a prince, even you are not supposed to do. All right. So she says, the way the task is suiting you, in the same way, it will suit me also. And I should do it with much more ease. And this task will be easy for me to do. For because my goodwill is to it and yours it is against. Because my goodwill is to it, because I want to do it. Goodwill here means inclination. This task will be easy for me to do because I am inclined to do it. I have an inclination to do it, while your inclination, your will is against it. You don't want to do it, but I want to do it. Now at this, Prospero says, poor womb, thou art infected. Now, it's a very common question. Whom does Prospero refer to as poor worm? He's referring it to Miranda, his daughter. You know, he feels sad for the girl. He says, thou art infected. You are infected with love. All right, you are suffering with love. This visitation shows it. This visitation, this charitable visit that you have given here to Ferdinand, it shows that you are infected with love now. Now, Miranda asks Ferdinand, but you know, Prospero is invisible and he is saying it to himself. It is not heard by anybody. Now, Miranda tells Ferdinand, you look weary, you look tired. Ferdinand says, no, noble mistress, it is fresh morning with me when you are by at night. No, I am not tired. If you are beside me, if you are there with me, then even the night seems like a fresh morning to me. I do beseech you, I do request you, chiefly that I might set in my prayers what is your name. Now, as soon as Ferdinand asks Miranda's name, Miranda suddenly tells the name Miranda. And then, with an, you can see it's a pause here. This long dash is used for interruption or pause. So suddenly she pauses and she says, oh, my father, I have broke your hest to say so. Hest here means command. I have broken your command to say so. Now, Ferdinand, when he comes to know Miranda's name, he calls her admired Miranda. All right, he calls her admired Miranda. You are a girl who has to be admired, admired Miranda, regarded with admiration. Indeed, the top of admiration. You are the top of wonder. So he is praising her. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought by too diligent ear. Now he tells further. He says, full many a lady I have eyed. I have eyed means I have seen with best regard. So eyed here means seen with best regard. With best regard means with close attention. I have seen so many ladies with close attention. You know, I have paid attention to them. I have seen them closely. And many a time, the harmony of their tongue, the harmony, the music of their music of their tongue here means their language. Basically, he wants to basically, he wants to say their language, the music of their language hath into bondage, hath into bondage. Bondage here means captivity, captivity. Brought my too diligent ear, brought my too diligent ear. Diligent here means attentive ear. So, what does he want to say? He says that I have seen many ladies with close attention, and at the same time, I have heard also many ladies with close attention. For several virtues, virtues are qualities, good qualities, have I liked several women. For several virtues, for various good qualities, I have liked various women. Never any with so full soul. It's not fun here, it has to be full. Never any with so full soul. Full soul here means wholeheartedly. There are different women whom I have seen and heard. I have liked different women, various women for their various qualities, but there is not one woman whom I have loved so wholeheartedly. But some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed. All right. So he wants to say that for several qualities, I have liked several women, but there was not one woman whom I have liked wholeheartedly, because some defect in her did quarrel with. Did quarrel with means go against. Some defect in her would go against with the noblest grace she owed. And in this way, put it to the foil. It here means the noblest quality, to the foil means defeated. So, in this way, some defect defeated the noblest quality she had. All right. And then he says, but you, oh you, so perfect and so peerless, matchless, perfect, flawless. He calls her perfect, means flawless. Peerless means matchless, who can't be matched with anybody. But you, who is so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best. But Miranda says, I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save except my glass, mine own. Now, we already know that Miranda came to this island when she was not even 3 years old, right? And since then, she has seen only her father, Prospero, and this deformed creature, Caliban. So that's why she never had any experience of seeing or even talking to any other human being than her father. So here she says, I do not know one of my sex or one of my gender. I don't know anybody of my gender. I don't know any woman. No woman's face remember. I don't even remember the face of any woman, save except from my glass. Glass here refers to the mirror, mine own, except from the mirror, mine own face. Not have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend, and my dear father. So Miranda is confessing here that she doesn't know any man or she doesn't know any woman in this world, right? As a man, she has seen only her father. And after her father, she has seen Ferdinand. And she doesn't remember any woman, and she has not even seen the face of any woman except her own face, which she has seen in the mirror. How features are abroad, I am skillless of. She says, I'm skillless. Skillless here means ignorant. She says, I'm ignorant of how features are abroad. I'm ignorant of how features are abroad. Abroad, you can say in the outside world. But by my modesty, she swears by her modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But she wants to say that I'm ignorant of any features in the outside world of men or women. But she swears by her modesty, saying that she doesn't want any other companion in the world but Ferdinand. And at the same time, her imagination cannot form any shape to like than the shape of Ferdinand. But I prattle something too widely, and my father's precepts I therein do forget. Now you see, she is being emotional here, and she's at the same time being passionate here. And as a passionate lover, she is talking at length, to her beloved. And at the same time, she is feeling guilty also. She says, but I prattle. Prattle means talk irrelevantly, need unnecessarily. She says, I talk unnecessarily, something too wild. And my father's precepts again means commands or instructions that her father has given not to talk to Ferdinand. And my father's precepts, I therein, therefore, do forget. And now, Ferdinand, at this time, because somehow Miranda has confessed her love for him, so Ferdinand says, I am in my condition. A prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so. I am in my condition, in my status. So, condition here may refer to social status. So, in my social status, I am a prince. Ferdinand says that he is a prince. I do think a king, and even I think of myself to be a king. I wish not so, though I do not wish to be so, and would no more endure means tolerate, this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. He says, I would not endure, I would not tolerate this wooden slavery the way I will not tolerate any flesh fly blowing on my mouth. Hear my soul speak. Now listen to my soul. What all I am saying is coming from my soul. The very instant that I saw you, the very moment that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. The very moment I saw you, my heart flew to your service. It became your slave. There resides, there lives, it lives there. My heart lives there with you to make me slave to it. And my heart says it wants you to make me your slave. And for your sake am I this patient logman. And it is for your sake only that I have become this patient logman. Now, at this, Miranda asks Ferdinand, do you love me? So, I told you in the beginning only that this scene is relevant because in this scene, they are confessing their love to each other. So, Miranda asks, do you love me? For that, Ferdinand says, O heaven, O earth, bear witness to this sound and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. If hollowly, invert what best is boded me to mischief. O heaven, O earth, bear witness to this sound. You be the witness to this sound, what all I am going to speak now. And crown what I profess. Crown means bless. He is seeking the blessings of heaven and earth. And bless what I profess. Profess means declare. And bless what I declare with kind event. With kind event means with good result. And bless what I declare with good result if I speak true. If hollowly, if falsely, here hollowly means falsely, but if I am speaking falsely, invert means turn. All right, invert what best is boded me to mischief. Invert what best is boded me. Turn all the best fortune that is promised to me into mischief, into evil. Beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you. I, beyond all, so he declares his love. He confesses his love, he declares his love, he says, I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize. Prize means value and honor. And for that, she says, I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of. I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of. Miranda, calls herself a fool that she is crying at the time when she is so happy. For that, Prospero says, fair encounter, fair meeting. Even Prospero is admiring their love. Even Prospero says, fair encounter. It's a fair meeting of two most rare affections. He calls it the two most rare affections, rare love. Heavens rain grace on that which breathes between them. And then he prays, heavens rain grace on, grace means blessing. He prays the heaven to rain, to pour blessing on that which is breeding between them, which is taking birth between them. And what is that which is taking birth between them? Is the pure, true love. Why are you weeping? Miranda says, at mine unworthiness. I am weeping at my unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. I cannot dare to offer you what I desire to give you. I cannot give you what I want to give you. All right. And much less take what I shall die to want. And at the same time, I can't take what I would even die to take. All right. So here we can say that she is talking about some kind of physical intimacy which she must be expecting at that time. She may want to hug him, but she says that she can't dare to give or to take anything like that. But this is trifling. But at the same time, she, discourages this feeling on her own, and she says that no, but this is trifling. It is of no use. It is idle talk, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. And all the more it seeks to hide itself, this kind of passion which she is having at this time, as much as you try to suppress it, it shows itself in a bigger bulk, in a big way. So now she says, I am your wife if you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. So here she clearly mentions, her will to be with Ferdinand. She says that if you marry me, I'll be your wife. But if you don't marry me, I'll die your maid. But I am not going to leave your company. Be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no. You may deny me to be your fellow, to be your partner, to be your companion, but I'll always be your servant. I'll always be serving you, whether you want or not. For that, Ferdinand says, my mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever. Ferdinand says, no, you will be my dearest mistress. You will be my mistress, and I thus humble ever, and I will always be very humble to you. For that, Miranda asks, my husband then? Then are you ready to be my husband? For that, Ferdinand says, I, yes, with a heart as willing as bondage ever of freedom. Yes, I would love to be your husband with a heart as willing. I'm as willing to be your husband as bondage, slavery is always willing of freedom. The way slavery always wants freedom, in the same way, I would also like to be your husband. Here is my hand. And then he offers his hand. Then Miranda also offers, and mine with my heart in it. Even my hand is there. So they shake hand with each other with my heart in it. And now farewell till half an hour ends. And now let me go farewell for half an hour. When Miranda asks for farewell for half an hour, Ferdinand says, 1,000. I am ready to bear thousands of farewell for your sake. And then Ferdinand and Miranda exit severally, means separately. Now, Prospero, who is there at that moment, Prospero says, so glad of this as they, I cannot be. I cannot be as glad of this meeting as they are, who are surprised with all, who are surprised with it, because I am very surprised with it. I cannot be as happy as these lovers are because I am more surprised than being happy. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. But even my rejoicing, my happiness cannot be anything more than this. This is what actually Prospero also wanted. All right. So he is happy, but he more than happy, he is being surprised here. I'll to my book. Book here means study. I'll go to my study for because yet air means before supper time is the dinner time. Must I perform much business appertaining. So he says, I'll go to my study because before supper time, before dinner time, I have to perform. I must perform some business appertaining. Appertaining means relating to the plan. There is some business, there is some work which is related to the plan and is waiting for me. So let me go to my study and finish my work. I hope you people have understood this scene 1 of Act 3.